Isabella was a vision of quiet grace, her beauty radiating from deep within, like sunlight filtering through autumn leaves. At 26, she led a life of unassuming rhythm in the small town, rising before dawn to knead dough at the local bakery, her hands dusted with flour as she supported her struggling family. Each morning brought the familiar ache of early hours, and every night, exhaustion wrapped around her like a heavy blanket, pulling her into dreamless sleep. It was a simple existence, one she had long accepted, until the day everything shattered into something achingly beautiful and terrifying. That fateful morning, a young man stepped into the bakery, his presence like a storm cloud in a clear sky. His name was Ethan, heir to the wealthiest family in town, their names synonymous with luxury, sprawling estates, sleek cars, and influence that stretched far beyond the cobblestone streets. Yet he arrived alone, unassuming, requesting just a single cupcake with a smile that hinted at depths unspoken. The next day, he returned, and the day after that, his visits becoming a quiet ritual that set tongues wagging. Whispers rippled through the town. Why was Ethan frequenting that humble bakery? Had the golden boy lost his way? Was trouble brewing in his gilded world? But Ethan wasn't lost. He was drawn, irresistibly, to Isabella. His questions came softly at first, laced with genuine curiosity. What sparks joy in your days? Do you lose yourself in books? Does music stir your soul? Isabella's heart fluttered in confusion, her cheeks warming under his gaze. "Why me?" she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper, laced with the vulnerability of someone unused to being seen. He leaned in, his eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that made her breath catch. "Because you're real," he replied, his words carrying the weight of a man weary of superficiality. "In a world of pretense, you're a breath of fresh air." Those words lingered in her mind like a melody she couldn't shake, stirring a whirlwind of emotions, flattery mingled with doubt, excitement tangled with fear. What was he truly seeking? After 2 weeks of stolen conversations, he confessed, his voice trembling with raw honesty, "I think I'm falling for you." Isabella's world tilted, her pulse raced as disbelief crashed over her. She, with her calloused hands and modest dreams, and he, from a realm of opulence? Was this a cruel jest? But the next day, he repeated it, his eyes pleading, "I like you more than I can say." Doubt gnawed at her. Could love bridge such a chasm? Would his family ever welcome someone like her? Was this fragile spark even real, or destined to flicker out? At first, their budding connection was a secret sanctuary, hidden in quiet corners of the bakery. They shared laughter that bubbled from deep within, stories that peeled back layers of their souls, her tales of family struggles evoking his empathy, his admissions of loneliness and wealth touching her heart. It felt like a dream, electric with possibility. But secrets have a way of unraveling, threads pulling loose until the tapestry frays. One crisp morning, Ethan didn't appear. Days stretched into an agonizing void, 2, then 3. Isabella's worry festered into heartache, a sharp pang that twisted her insides. Had he tired of her? Had she misread the signs, exposing her heart only to have it trampled? On the 4th day, he returned, but shadows haunted his once bright eyes, his shoulders slumped under an invisible burden. "My parents know about us," he admitted, his voice cracking with the strain of suppressed tears. Isabella's heart hammered against her ribs, fear coiling in her chest like a serpent. She remained silent, every fiber of her being attuned to his pain. "They exploded," he continued, his words tumbling out in a rush of frustration and defiance. "Told me to end it or face the consequences. No more support, no inheritance, no place in the family empire." Isabella's mind reeled, tears pricked her eyes, but she held them back, her composure a fragile shield. Why her? What crime had she committed beyond daring to feel? Ethan's gaze softened, filled with a fierce tenderness. "But I don't care. I choose you." His declaration hung in the air, sweet as honey yet laced with venomous risk. Joy warred with terror in Isabella's soul. How could she revel in his love when it meant his ruin? "You have a future mapped out," she whispered, her voice breaking, "one I could never fit into. Don't throw it away from me." Ethan's response was swift, his hands gently cupping her face. "You are my future, the only one that matters." Those words ignited a fire in her, warm and consuming, but beneath it lurked dread. He faced an impossible choice, love or legacy, her or his blood. And Isabella grappled with her own torment. Should she cling to this miracle, or release him before the fallout destroyed them both? Complicating the storm was a shadow lurking in the periphery, someone who coveted Ethan for herself, her jealousy a brewing tempest ready to unleash chaos. As days blurred into a tense haze, Ethan defied his parents' edicts, slipping away to see Isabella despite their interrogations. "Where are you sneaking off to?" "Still chasing that girl?" they demand, their voices dripping with disdain. He evaded, unwilling to lie yet refusing to surrender the one thing that made his heart race. Meanwhile, another force stirred, Sophia, a poised beauty from Ethan's elite circle, whose affection for him had simmered for years. Their families had long envisioned a union, a merger of fortunes, but now Ethan's heart strayed to a world beneath their notice. Jealousy clawed at Sophia's chest, a bitter acid that burned away reason. Fear whispered of permanent loss, fueling her resolve. One afternoon, Sophia stormed into the bakery, her elegant attire a stark contrast to the flour-dusted counters. She fixed Isabella with a glare sharp as a blade. "You don't belong in his world. He has dreams, a legacy. You're just a distraction that could shatter it all. Do you really want to be the villain in his story?" Isabella's breath hitched, her confidence crumbling under the assault, but she held her tongue, the words echoing in her mind like a curse. That night, sleep eluded Isabella, her thoughts a tumultuous sea of self-doubt. Tears soaked her pillow as she wrestled with the truth. Perhaps Sophia was right. Maybe she was a curse, a fleeting wind that would leave Ethan in ruins. The next day, Ethan arrived bearing wildflowers, their petals vibrant against his hopeful smile. "I want to introduce you to my world, my friends, everything," he said, his eyes alight with dreams. But Isabella's resolve wavered. She forced the words out, each one a dagger to her own heart. "Maybe we should end this now." Shock etched across Ethan's face, his voice a raw plea. Why? After everything? Tears welled in her eyes as she confessed, your life is grand, full of promise. Mine is ordinary. You'll lose it all because of me. I can't bear that weight. He stepped closer, his touch a lifeline. I've told you, none of it matters without you. But the blows kept coming. Ethan's father, in a fit of fury, stripped him bare, confiscating his car, freezing his accounts, even his phone. If poverty is what you crave, embrace it, he snarled. Ethan trudged to Isabella on foot, weariness etched into his features, yet determination burned in his eyes. Her heart ached, a profound sorrow blooming at the sight of his sacrifice. This is all my fault, she murmured, guilt choking her. Ethan pulled her into an embrace, his voice steady amid the storm. This isn't your fault, it's ours, and it's worth every fight. This is my choice, Ethan said firmly. But Isabella didn't feel any better. She started thinking about walking away for good. Meanwhile, Sophia went to Ethan's parents and spun a nasty lie. She told them Isabella's just using him for his money. She admitted it to me. Ethan's mom broke down in tears. Ethan was furious when he heard. That's a total lie, he shouted. But his parents didn't buy it. Now, things felt completely shattered. Still, Ethan wouldn't back down. Even without his car, his cash, or his family's backing, he kept showing up to see Isabella. But she was pulling away. Her smiles were gone, and she barely talked anymore. Her heart felt like it weighed a ton. One night, Isabella sat down and wrote a letter. In it, she poured out her feelings. You have such a bright future ahead. You don't need me dragging you down. I don't want to be the reason you lose it all. I love you, but I have to go. She left the letter on the bakery counter and headed home, not sticking around for him to find it. The next morning, Ethan spotted the letter and read it. He didn't cry or say a word, he just turned and walked out. That same day, Sophia's parents threw a big party, inviting all the important people, wealthy families, business contacts, even Ethan's folks. Sophia bragged to her friends, tonight, Ethan's going to be mine again. But as the hours ticked by, he didn't show. Sophia kept smiling and saying, he'll be here any minute. She was dead wrong. Instead, Ethan headed straight to the bakery to find Isabella. When she saw him, she asked, "What are you doing here?" He handed her the letter back and said, "You don't get to decide for me. I do. And I choose you, not the money, not the fancy parties, not the lies." For the first time in days, Isabella felt a spark of hope. Back at the party, Ethan's mom stumbled upon a voice message on Sophia's phone that she forgot to delete. In it, Sophia said, "Isabella's just some poor girl, she's no real threat. I'll scare her off, and she'll dump him. Trust me." Ethan's mom listened quietly, then turned to her husband and said, "We've screwed up big time." The next morning, Ethan's mom showed up at the bakery. Isabella's heart skipped a beat when she saw her. What's she here for? To tell me to stay away from Ethan for good? But his mom didn't look mad. She placed a small envelope on the counter and said, "I found this." Isabella opened it. It was her own goodbye letter. "Ethan gave it to me yesterday," his mom explained. "He really loves you." Isabella stayed silent, totally thrown off. Then his mom added, "I heard that message on Sophia's phone. She set this all up. She lied to us about you using him, but you were actually trying to protect him." Isabella could hardly believe it. Was this for real? Ethan's mom continued, "We were so wrong. I was wrong. I judged you because you're not from our world, but you've got something we lack, real honesty." That day, Sophia's lies blew up in her face. The voice message got shared around to her friends, family, and even coworkers. People started grilling her. Did you really try to split them up? Was it all fake? Sophia didn't say a peep. She skipped town a week later. 2 weeks after that, Ethan's dad called them both in for a talk. Isabella was nervous, and Ethan stayed quiet. Then his dad said, "When I was your age, I fell for a girl just like you. My father wouldn't let me marry her, and I've regretted it ever since. I don't want to repeat that mistake with my son. I don't care about the money stuff. You're honest, and that's what our family could use more of." Ethan and Isabella exchanged glances, overflowing with happiness. 3 months later, life had flipped in the best way. Isabella and Ethan were still together, living simply without the big house or fancy stuff, but they had real peace. Ethan started working at the bakery, learning to bake bread and cakes right alongside her. His parents stopped by every Saturday, and his mom always beamed with pride. One day, his dad said, "The family business is yours if you want it back." Ethan was speechless. Isabella smiled and said, "You don't have to pick one or the other anymore. You can have the future in me." Ethan grinned back. "No," he replied, "we have our future." Isabella glanced around the bakery, at the customers, at Ethan. She thought back to that first day he walked in, just asking for a cupcake. Now they had love, respect, and trust, things no amount of money could buy. People often think cash is everything, but it can vanish in a flash. Love sticks around. Ethan had all the wealth in the world before, but he wasn't truly happy. Love isn't about flashy gifts or mansions, it's about sticking together through the tough times. If someone loves you for you, not your stuff, that's the real deal. And real love beats out lies, fear, or fortune every time. So if you're ever facing a huge choice like we did, ask yourself, what fills your heart even when your pockets are empty? That's your answer. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.